It has been over 2 months since I discovered my lost forever world from over 13 years ago. Going through this world is like discovering an old picture book you lost a long time ago, only to find it years later, and as you flip through the pages, you awaken memories you thought were gone forever. The past few episodes have been dedicated to establishing our footing by upgrading our character with strong tools and armor, and familiarizing ourselves with this decade-old world. Today, it is time to finally take our world to the next level. This is going to be a start to working on important projects that will modernize our world and launch it to the latest versions of Minecraft. By the way guys, this is a longer video. We explore a lot of different things, get a lot of stuff done, some unexpected things happen, so I included timestamps in the video so you can easily skip around and watch what parts you want. I hope you enjoy, let's hop into it. Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of our world here that has been lost for a very long time until I recently found it. Today is going to be a very, very important day for us and for the world, because we're going to build something that it really needs and it's never really had, which is a real and efficient mob farm. See, since I found this world recently and started playing on it again, I realized something. Getting resources is a lot more work, or you need resources more, like these fireworks. Every night I've been going around killing creepers to get these fireworks, and it sucks. It's a grind. I'm not into it. So we need a real mob farm. I mean, every world has one. It's important to make one. So I got a pretty cool design laid out. So it's not going to be your generic mob farm. It should be interesting, a little different from what you normally see, only a little, but it's something we really need. It needs to be efficient. We need to have lots of gunpowder and bones and arrows. Ooh, that was close. So we can spend less time grinding and more time playing the game. Alrighty, fresh new morning in the game. It's a nice late afternoon in real life, and I think we're going to get started here. I have mostly everything made already. I thought I did. I don't know where my shulker box went. I had it right here. Here it is. This is mostly everything we need here to make it happen. Should be a pretty simple build. By the way, I color-coded some of my shulker boxes because I'll place these around, and I open like... I get lost in my shulker boxes. I have like 10 of them laid out and I don't know what's what, and I'm constantly doing this. Like, it's not fun, so I color coded them. I also went ahead and got myself a nice sword, and I'm going to go show you how I did that right now. We actually need to go over to that area anyway because there's something important we must grab ourselves, and I'm going to leave this in the inner chest. Remember guys, don't carry around important things in your inventory because if you die with it, it might literally put you behind several days, which would suck. This game can be kind of grindy sometimes, so be smart with what you do. Now we're going to go ahead and head over to a base I want to show you guys. This is actually something we missed in the very first episode of this series when I went over this world and showed all the bases I made so long ago. It's at a base, but we just kind of missed a section of it, and this is how I was able to get myself this nice sword here. It's kind of like an XP farm. Although not a very good one. So we can go ahead and check that out. It's right over here at our snow base. Here it is, all this beautiful snow. That is no longer a snow biome. It is taiga. It no longer snows here. I was actually on yesterday preparing for this episode, and it was raining. So it'll never snow here ever again. So we must preserve it. By the way, these Endermen are kind of wild. I've been finding glass. I've been finding dirt, grass. I've been finding grass blocks just everywhere, even inside my bases and in caves and stuff. So one of the funny things about Endermen when you plan a world, like there's another one right here. Like, how did he even get here? What? They're following me. Anyway, we were here in that one episode where we went over everything in spectator mode. I added this sign here because I didn't know this was here because it's hidden back here. Here it is. And I did update it. It did not look like this previously. I made it a little bit better because back then I didn't know how spawning worked very well. So I made it a little more efficient. And it's a skeleton spawner is what it is. And this is how I was able to get my looting 3 sword. Oh my goodness, guys. I didn't know looting 3 was so unbelievably rare. It took me forever. I was like, oh, I'm just going to come over here, kill some skeletons. Maybe do a few tries. Nope, I went through maybe like 10 of these swords. I did get looting 1 and looting 2 a couple times. Actually, only once each. And then I got looting 3 finally. And then I was able to combine other stuff that I got through the enchanting process to get sharpness 5, sweeping edge 3, and unbreaking 3. So it's a really nice sword. It just took a while to get it. But we need to come here because I need dispensers. And we craft those with bows. So it was we got kind of a double win with this farm. Rediscovering it because it was lost in my world and didn't know about it until recently. Yeah, just your typical spawner farm. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, this was quite the chore. Took a couple hours at least. It's always funny to me because I work all day, right? And I'm doing other stuff. I'm doing real life chores and etc. And then I come onto a game where I have virtual chores. I don't know why I do that to myself, but it's like some of us always want to stay busy even when we're quote unquote relaxing. We just end up going to a video game that gives us a bunch of work to do. Because I wasn't just getting XP and getting this stuff, you know, I'm going around gathering resources, gathering iron, gathering wood. It's funny that some of us do that to ourselves, where it's like we never actually relax. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and make these dispensers real quick, and I'm going to meet you at where we're going to make this, and it'll be a surprise. Surprise! It's right here. We're actually not going anywhere. We're going to build it right here on our old, we were calling it enchantment base, but it's going to be renamed and rebranded to be our mob farm base. I figured this design is pretty cool. And I think it would fit well if we had a mob farm above it. Because I was trying to think of how we're going to update the space, and the enchantment thing didn't make a whole lot of sense to me based off the way it looks. I thought it would be really cool if we had... Sorry, I'm flying around everywhere. I thought it would be really cool. Let's go to land maybe like right... Oh my goodness. 1 second. Anyway, I thought it would be really cool if we had a funnel system. Like this is like the area where the mobs go, and we have storage lined up inside there. And then we have a mob system above this that funnels the mobs down here, and we can have it to where they either unalive by themselves, or we can manually kill them with our looting 3 sword to get more loot and XP. The first thing we need to do is actually tear this thing down. So I want to tear this down, and I want to create a foundation and kind of get that all rolling, and put this away because I don't want to lose this. Don't know why I have it on me, and get the space going here. So 1 second, I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, I was just getting ready to take it down, and I have learned something super sad. We can no longer repair our elytra wings. We are officially cooked. We either got to put mending on this, which we do not have. Very sad. We have to go back to being peasants, walking around on our feet. I guess we can try to repair this one, but it doesn't have Unbreaking 3, so it's going to go by very fast. Alrighty guys, wait for it. Oops, wrong way. Ta-da! Alrighty, so this is the start, but not the finished by any means. I went ahead and got basically the foundation done here. I decided to do it off camera because I don't think me placing redstone is super fascinating or interesting in any way, shape, or form. As you can see here, we have all the redstone. This is the catching chamber. Is that the right word for it? As you see here, this is where the mobs are going to fall and get pushed into a little section right here where they will be available to farm for resources and for XP. So we can turn this off if we want to and keep them alive to farm them. And then we can go ahead and turn it back on if we want to. I'm just using splash potions here to turn that off. And as you can see up here, this is actually the catching platform where the mobs will fall and get funneled into a 3x3 area right here. And that's where they go down. And it's calculated just enough to where if they land there or there, they will be just like 1 to 3 hits to die, which is perfect. The campfire will finish them off, or we can kill them manually for XP. As you can see though, there's actually no spawning platforms. That is going to be the bulk of this build. And it shouldn't take too long. You might be surprised at how quickly you can get these things done here. Whipping this together probably only took 30 minutes. As long as you have all your resources together, it doesn't take very long to build things in this game. Although the catch to that phrase is as long as you have your resources together. Gathering the resources take a lot more time than it does to actually build things. But it is ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and finish this off here. Oh, before we do that, I did also, I'm redesigning this a little bit. I went ahead and made the ceiling a little bit taller so it's symmetrical to what was down here. Before there wasn't this gap, it was just flat and then went along. So I raised it. Now we have a taller ceiling. And don't worry about the looks of this place. I do have plans to make sure this looks nice and pretty once we get all the redstone done. But I like to get the redstone in first, and then we can go ahead and build it. I almost forgot, guys, before we get too deep into this new project, making a mob farm, I actually used to have... I said I didn't have a mob farm in my world, but I technically did. I didn't really count it, though, but maybe that's not fair, because it did get me resources way back in the day. I also couldn't spell back in the day. I can't spell now either. Down here, I technically made a mob farm. This was one of the last things I kind of built in this world before I started to not play as much. Voila. I had this. And this is extremely old. This was back when mobs would just walk off the edge. Now you have to put trapdoors here. It was a lot simpler back then. They would just walk off a platform. It's made a big room like this. And I would just go AFK down here. Now this wasn't built very well because I didn't really know how the spawning mechanics worked back in the day. I just saw someone do this and they, I just kind of like poorly copied it. I would go AFK here, but it still got me resources. I've actually come here and taken quite a few. By the way, this was before zombie dropped rotten flesh, which means my world is older than I thought it was. Like, a bit older. I thought I made my world like after the adventure update, but this was when zombies dropped feathers, which was before the 1.8 adventure update. So my world was made at least in 2011, which means my world is like this world is almost 15 years old, which is absolutely crazy. It makes it even more of a miracle that I ended up finding this world so much later in my life and didn't lose it. But this is the old mob farm. I did think about coming back here and optimizing this one instead, but I wanted to make a new one from scratch in the sky because I wouldn't want to mine out a ton of area underground. And it's better to do it in the sky because it's easier to keep spawning in check. Anyway, I'm gonna head back to a base now. I just really want to show you guys that. Oh, hello. We're really close right now. Aha. Okay, we are back. So everything's ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and do the final portion of this build. It's basically a design I kind of made myself. Let's hop into finishing this build, and I will get back to you. Alright, so I cannot stress enough how excited I am to actually make this mob farm. This is the first big redstone project we have in this world, and it's going to be an extremely useful one. I've always been a big fan of redstone. I've always played around with it in creative worlds. I've never made one in survival Minecraft, so I'm just super excited to finally have this. And just so you're aware, I was originally going to copy someone else's design, this one right here, but it didn't work. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the version of Minecraft I am. Maybe I don't know what I was doing. Either way, I'm glad I couldn't get it to work because it allowed me to come up with my own version of this design and ultimately end up inventing my own type of mob farm. Because the way it takes the mobs off the platforms is different. The unaliving chamber is completely my own thing, completely different from the video. And I think it's better because it has multiple modes. It has XP mode and automation mode. This design is far more compatible with spiders. Now, I've learned something coming back to Minecraft about 10 years later. Researching all these farms, there's actually a ton of horrible tutorial videos, and all the best ones or I should say all the ones that appear in the search feed tend to be the worst ones because they're most clickbaity. They'll lie about the results, the effectiveness of these farms, and they leave out important information you need to know to make sure these work effectively. Some of them are even completely fake. It's a weird world on YouTube out there nowadays. There are people that make fake Minecraft, make a living creating fake Minecraft tutorial videos. It is bizarre to me. People will do anything to get a following on YouTube, I guess. But I was going to use this opportunity to explain something really important that I've noticed isn't explained in a lot of mob farm videos I was finding. And it's really simple, but you need to know these things for your farm to work effectively. Mobs cannot spawn within 24 blocks of a player, so it's important for your spawning platforms to be 24 blocks away. And mobs can spawn between 24 blocks and 128 blocks away. So you have all that range to make your spawning platforms. On that note, it's important to light up all caves and anywhere mobs can spawn within 128 blocks in either direction of the player. That way, the only places they can spawn is your spawning platforms, thus making it as efficient as possible. Usually the best way to do this is actually build these mob farms way above oceans. That way you don't have to worry about lighting up anything because it's just in the sky above an ocean. But I really wanted it to be in this location. I wanted to spend some time lighting up the area around me in a 128 by 128 circle around my character where I would stand for this to work, which is fine. I really wanted it to be in this spot, so I'm not worried about it at all. I've actually already gotten a lot of lighting done already after this recording. Okay, it is actually quite a bit of time later. It is a new day. I finished putting it together. Now, before I show you guys the final build, it's actually to the left. I don't want to spoil it. I'm at this village over here. I can't fly anymore. We have maxed out both of our elytras. They're both too expensive to repair. They both have an Unbreaking 3 on them. I tell you guys, elytras do not last long, even with Unbreaking 3. And it looks like you can only repair them twice before they are labeled as too expensive to repair. So I decided to go get a mending book from a villager. I just kind of stood here and placed this lantern, what's this called? Lectern over and over again until we had mending. I think I got pretty lucky because I got this after about 10 minutes, and I was reading people will sometimes spend a few hours trying to get this. So I don't know if things have changed or if I just got super lucky. Either way, I'm very, very happy to have this. We need to put this on our elytra because, my goodness, guys, this game is, once you get in the elytra, you're spoiled. You are so spoiled. And when you don't have one, you are just, the only thing you can think about is fixing your elytra. It looks like, oh no, I have to go get another one. Okay, well, I'm going to have a hard time showing you guys the build anyway, so I think I'm going to take a trip to the end and go ahead and get one real quick. So I will see you guys in a little bit. Wait, hold on. I had an idea. I disenchanted it and it lets me repair it again. Yes, let's go. That's actually really awesome. So I can just take the enchantment off and it goes back to being really cheap. Look at this. Look at that. 1, 2. I did not know it worked that way. Thank goodness I figured that out before going all the way to the end. That would have taken like an hour. So let's go ahead and repair our boys here. Nice. Boys? I don't know what I'm saying. And then we can max it out. Oh my goodness. That is so nice. I'm going to go ahead and get an Unbreaking 3 book real quick. And then I'll slap these on. Call it a day. That's good to know. That's good to know that you can disenchant things and then just put the enchantment back on to make it possible. I did not know that. Alrighty, and ta-da! There it is. It is completely done. At least the guts of the build is. It is 15 layers, so 15 spawning platforms. And just take another look at it here. And of course, the mobs will spawn on those platforms. Those pistons you see activate the dispenser with water and pushes them off. And they all funnel down into that unaliving chamber down there. Now, we have the signs, so it's more compatible with spiders. Having that gap helps. It makes it less likely for them to cling on the edges. Because if you don't have that, the spiders will clog up the system and cause a lot of problems. Down here is the funneling system. It just has pistons that push them in. The pistons aren't timed exactly right, but it doesn't matter. Ow. It doesn't matter. It will still push them down the hole and do the trick. It brings the mobs down to 1 to 3 punches with your fist, depending on the platform they land on. Spiders are supposed to die most of the time, but if they don't, sometimes they try to crawl out, which is why we have this fire right here, which finishes them off. And that's also why we have the hoppers down there, because the spiders will die, but the other mobs won't. So we can collect the string and spider eyes, which is why I wanted the to have the spiders. I know you can go get a cave spider farm and it's technically better, but I wanted to take on the challenge of making a farm that would be compatible with spiders. And this is where they unalive. There is an XP mode, which is why I have them funnel into a 1x1 here, so I can easily turn off the fire by pressing this button. Then they'll fall down here. And then I can take them out manually. And there's just water potions in here. Like so. And then same on this side as well. By the way, I was trying to make this look cool. I spent way too much time trying to pull together the look for this. I think it's pretty good. I was able to hide most of the redstone and the guts here. And you can open this up to access the dispensers and the chest here. This is where the spider stuff goes, and everything else goes down here. I'm going to have a sorting system. We're going to do that later. The reason why I have this here, because you could technically remove this and take out the mobs this way, but I found out that mobs can see you right here if the angle is just right. And with creepers, that was scary. I actually haven't tested this part. Please don't blow up. Whoa. Okay, that was scary. I don't want a creeper blowing up in here. Or a skeleton sees you really well. And if a skeleton shoots you and the creeper doesn't, the creeper will explode on the skeleton. Which I found out the hard way in my testing Redstone World when I was putting this together, designing this. So just be careful. Make sure the mobs can't see you. They can't see us this way. If they drop XP orbs, I actually can't get them right here. Let's let a mob actually come in so I can show you what I mean. All right, here comes a skeleton. We take him out. If I just kind of squeeze in this corner, it does a trick. So the system is pretty good. It's not perfect, but it is good enough. And I guess if there's any of you that want to see the redstone, I'll give you a glimpse. I won't spend too much time on it because if you know what you're doing, this is pretty self-explanatory. It's just a hopper clock that activates these pistons. And then when the pistons activate, there's another shorter clock here, a repeater clock that turns it off shortly after. So there's time for the mobs to spawn. And I believe I have 32 in here. Yeah, there's 32 in there, so it goes off every 32 ticks, I believe. And yeah, we can take them out here, nice and easy. Get that. And then we absorb all the stuff. It's really awesome. This is huge because now we have unlimited gunpowder, which means we finally have oh my my bad, over here we finally have infinite flight. We also got our mending and unbreaking 3 on the elytra, so we never have to worry about not being able to fly ever again. It's like going from horses and carriages to like sports cars in one go. Like when I didn't have my elytra, when it would break, I felt like a peasant and I had to address the issue. So we got that done. We got the mob farm done. You might have noticed something if you built mob farms before. You may be wondering, the spawning platforms are not covered enough for mobs to spawn. This doesn't go out far enough. This would have to go out maybe another like 4 or 5 blocks to completely darken it. But I have a different idea. We're actually going to go into part 2 of this build. That's right, this was only part 1. To give you a little take on how I play the game, I usually don't build things for the sake of building something. I've never really been motivated to like build something just because it's cool. Like you'll see people like on like Hermitcraft, for example. There's a lot of builders on there that will build something, but not even build the inside, which is like why. Like, I get it. It's a different play style, and they build because they enjoy making something that looks cool. But for me, it has to have purpose. So I tend to prioritize redstone over anything else. Although this is my first redstone project in this build, in this world, I mean. But things need to have a use either way. So I've never been motivated to do like a really big build that just looks cool until now, because this is the perfect time to do a mega build where we have a really cool building that has a purpose. And we're going to build a cool building that has this on the inside. Even though I'm kind of poking at builders for not doing the inside, redstoners also fall into the same trap where they'll build something like what you see behind me and just leave it there and it becomes a huge eyesore. Like, I know, like, it looks cool right now, but after a good 20 minutes, it's going to just be a huge eyesore and make the whole area look ugly. So if you're going to build something like this, you might as well put in the extra time to also make it look nice. That's how I like to play the game anyway. And that's what we're going to do. I'm really excited because we have a redstone project and now we get to do a building project. Now, I don't really consider myself much of a builder, but I have been practicing recently. And we're going to give it a shot here. So the idea I have in mind is we are going to make this a Japanese / Chinese themed building. Don't really know specifically which one it represents, but it's going to have that Chinese or that Asian roof style. Kind of like that building from Kung Fu Panda 2. That's kind of what I want to do here. So we're going to go with these colors. We're going to use deep slate tiles for the roof. I think you're going to be really cool. Mangrove for the red is going to look really cool, I think. By the way, I did some exploring because I needed to find mangrove trees. And I found a jungle along the way. We finally have scaffolding. And I think how we're going to do this... Well, actually, another thing too. We're going to have to go find amethyst, because I want to be able to like see the inside. So we're going to make tinted glass so you can actually still see the inside, but it keeps it completely dark. So I think it's going to be really cool. So with all of that aside, I've actually never really done a build this big before, especially in survival Minecraft. Maybe go down 2, and we need this to place the half slab. And then we're just going to go across like so. And kind of build out that curved roof type that I'm really into. If I could have a real house in real life, it would probably have that style roof. Let's see here. I'm going to give this a shot real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, let's go ahead and give it a look. And... aha! Oh, a little too far away. You know, it's so big that it looks kind of weird. This would work if the roof was smaller, but because we're going to be seeing it from like down here, it's too small. I think it might be best if I maybe move these out like every 2. We'll smooth it out a little bit. Get rid of that. Bear with me, guys, here. Building isn't really my forte, and I'm taking on a more challenging roof style. Alrighty, and... nope, bad angle. Okay, it's looking a bit better. We definitely are going to have to go on the bigger scale, like a slower transition, rather than a shorter one. It's going to fit the size of the build a bit better. Yeah, I think I'm liking that a little bit more. I want this to curve down, and maybe curve down even more, and then go back up. I think it's going to make it look the best. Because if this is just a straight line all the way across to the other corner, it'll be okay, but we could do a little bit better. So this is what we got. I am definitely liking the direction that it's going. Here, let's take another peek at it from farther away. That's where it's going to really matter. Okay, definitely looking a bit better. I think we can curve it even a little bit more. And there's the curvature, down 1 more. And then as it meets these corners, stops here. So I was thinking it goes up to here. Then we go in 1 more. Then we need to go in 1 more again. And yeah, I think that's going to look pretty good when we have the other corners done. Especially from far away, down here. Yeah, I think that's how we're going to do this. I'm going to do the other sides and do a grand reveal. Alrighty, so this is the last piece for the center of the roof. I haven't done the two sides yet, but I wanted to check and make sure we are centered with everything. Yes, we are. That is the dispenser. So now that we have two sides done, let's give it another good hard look. Yeah, I think I'm liking it. I think that's looking pretty good. But before we finish the roof, now that we have a corner done, I want to show you guys what I have planned for the actual walls. It's getting late, so I want to make sure I have the energy to record that real quick. And get your guys' take on how that's going to look. Like I said earlier, we're going to be using the mangrove logs. We want to put them in the corner right here, and then go bloop, 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 all the way down. I really think this like dark red highlight is going to look really good. I actually need some more of this. I don't have enough now that I realize. I did go find a place. I did go find these, so I'm going to fly over there real quick and gather some more, and then come back so I can show you the rest of this. Okay, guys, I was just getting ready to leave to go get the wood, and we just experienced a horrible disaster in our world. Probably the worst disaster I have experienced in a very long time. I'll go show you. I need torches though. Oh my goodness. So, yep. I noticed the timing was a little off. There was something weird going on with the timing, so I flew in. I landed like right here at the check on it. I was like, okay, what's going on? Let's modify the rest of the wire. It was daytime, by the way. But this is just such a pain. I can't even stand on the spot. And a creeper fell, blew up right there, caused all the water to come down and destroy everything. And then I flew down here to check on it, and then I landed here. I landed a little too hard. I was only like I have 4 hearts because of the creeper. And then I popped right here. All my items went flying everywhere. So I ended up dying, and I had to fly around and try to find everything. And then I died again, trying to recover everything because all my items like appeared like in one of these layers. And a zombie and a skeleton had all my items, and the skeleton killed me twice as I tried to get it all back. Oh my goodness, guys, this game can be a little much sometimes. I was really worried. I was worried I was going to lose my elytra. I didn't lose that, or my good sword. Thank goodness. Oh my goodness, when this stuff happens, it is so stressful. So, lesson learned. We're going to turn off the system. So we're going to turn off all the timers. We're actually going to light up everything in there. See, what I was doing actually was grabbing everything, getting ready to leave, and I was actually going to go AFK just for a little bit before I started the next clip. Oh man, what a disaster that unfolded. For some reason, there's mobs up here still, so this is what I mean. It's ridiculous. So hold on, I'm going to disable everything, and we're going to keep it off until we're done here. Oh, get away from me! What? Why did the arrow bounce off of him? What the? Why? What? What is going on? The universe just doesn't want me to play anymore. You know, I was actually going to install an off switch. That was part of my plan. Maybe I should have included that, built that before starting the rest of the build here. Okay, now I need to fix this mess. And there we go. Everything is back to normal. Okay, 2 lessons learned from this encounter, guys. If something can go wrong, it will. That is not a silly saying. In my mind, that is now a 100% definite fact through and through. So we'll keep that in mind for future projects. And we're going to go ahead and get ourselves some feather falling boots. Because the reason why this all happened to begin with, well, not necessarily the creeper blew up, the reason why I lost some of my items was because I landed right there with my elytra. And you don't have to land very hard with an elytra to go pop. Like if I go, whoop, see, I wasn't going very fast, and you went pop. And it's funny, I actually thought I was going to live that. I was not planning on unaliving there. We're going to make sure we get ourselves some feather falling boots. I actually got myself a feather falling 4 book. already. I was saving it, but we're not saving that. We're putting that on right now. There we go. Take that off, put that on, put that on. Protection 4, feather falling 4, mending and unbreaking 3. Now we're good. Now we're covered. Alrighty everyone, with those inconvenient... Alright everyone, with that out of the way, I have found ourselves a mangrove forest because that is the wood type we need for our build here. At least it's the wood type that I want. Although I'm a little concerned. This might be a pain. These trees are a little... Yeah, this might be... Because we're going to need a lot. Like, oh man, we're going to be using the stripped versions like this. So... Oh no. Oh no. Okay, that's not too bad. This isn't too bad. Ooh, these are messy though. Okay, this is going to be interesting. The thing is, I don't want to leave floating trees around either. I don't really like doing that. I had an idea though, and we're going to give it a shot here. Okay, so I brought some TNT. I don't know how well this is going to work, but this might save us some time. Also, this is the one thing I lost. I made a stack of TNT from the gunpowder we got from the farm. That's kind of why I had it on. I was wanting to get resources from it while we were still working on the build. And that's out of everything, we lost 3 things: our iron silk touch pickaxe, one of our bundle bags, and then our stack of TNT, which is by far the worst thing we could have lost. Because that stuff is so expensive. I was hoping we could use this TNT to blow it up, although I'm under the impression this actually might not work too well, so it's probably not going to be that big of a deal. I'm just really trying to find easier ways to handle this. So let's give it a shot here. Let's test it out. You know, that wasn't so bad. Hold up. This actually might be a good idea. And just so you guys are aware, TNT does not, like, destroy blocks first time, only the second time. At least that's how it used to work last time I checked, and hopefully it's still that way. It looks like we're getting plenty, though. And then we can... Ooh, this is actually working really well. Oh my goodness. Look at that. That worked amazingly. Also, are these supposed to be the saplings? I'm going to guess these are the saplings. I'm going to pick them up. Can I plant them on? I can. Okay. I'm going to assume these are the saplings. Oh, that actually worked really well. I wasn't expecting that to work so well. Darn, that really sucks we lost that TNT. That would have saved us a lot of time. Well, we'll try it here in a few trees and see how it goes. Alright, nothing like a little bit of deforestation to get yourself some wood. Don't worry, I replanted the trees, assuming that these are the saplings. So, this is what we got. Not too bad at all. Only went for about 20-30 minutes. I ran out of TNT and stopped. The TNT definitely saved a lot of time. At least I feel like it did. It made it a lot easier. This stuff is pretty sloppy. It's a lot of labor involved. It's definitely probably the hardest wood to collect for sure. And the TNT really saved a lot of time and just blowing up the whole tree, collecting it all. So we're going to go ahead and take this home, and I'll see you guys over there. Alrighty, we're back at the build here. We have our shulker box full of our wood. Now you might be wondering, it doesn't seem like enough, and you would be right. At least I think you would, because this is probably at least like a stack, or probably even over a stack. And I'm thinking the pillars are going to maybe be too thick, and we're going to also be having supports running along horizontally as well. I'm thinking we can actually use the planks instead, because remember, this build is kind of going to be from afar. We're always going to be viewing it flying in or from down there. I don't think from far away you're really going to notice a difference. So we have the preferred version, the stripped, which I think has a nicer texture, next to the planks. But I really think from far away it's not going to be too big of a deal. Yeah, you can barely tell a difference. Just barely. And once we add the other stuff next to it, it's not even going to be noticeable. Which is good. We're able to save a lot of time. I was expecting this to take like hours collecting the resources and gathering all the planks or all the logs. But the TNT saved time, and making the change to use planks is also going to save a lot of time. Basically, it took 20 to 30 minutes to collect the resources when I thought it was going to take hours. Work smarter, not harder, guys. All right, so I'm going to take this down. I'm going to set this up, at least one of the sides here. Give it a good look here and see what we think. Okay, there it is. Not much so far. So part of the design here is we're actually going to have 3 roofs. We're going to have one here in the center and then one at the bottom, I think. Is going to be the design. So I'm going to work on the top section here and actually figure out where the middle is, and then show you what the frame is going to look like, and then to see how it looks from there and make decisions from there. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So guys, by the way, I did go see the Minecraft movie since the last episode, and unfortunately I didn't experience any chaos that I've been seeing online. No chickens being thrown into the air during the chicken jockey scene. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's this scene in the Minecraft movie. Jack Black says chicken jockey, and people go crazy. They scream, they yell, they set off fireworks, they somehow smuggle in chickens into the into the place, which I don't know how you're able to do that. And they throw popcorn and soda everywhere, which I don't condone, by the way. So I'm glad I didn't experience that part of it. But people were very respectful in my theater. I was hoping people would at least clap and cheer. No one did that. I felt a little out of place. But thoughts on the movie? Jack Black definitely carried the film. And the other guy, Jason, I think is his name. I forgot his last name. They carried the film very well. If it wasn't for them, I think the film would have been really bad. Because on paper, it was probably the worst movie I've ever seen. Just like straight up. It was fun. It was silly. You know, a lot of cameos. I saw like a lot of Minecraft YouTubers in there. Like a couple I watched that were in there were Mumbo Jumbo. Actually, I think he was the only one that I watched that was in there. Unless if I didn't notice anyone else. Dan TDM was in there, but I never really watched Dan TDM. But it was fun, you know, it was silly, it was goofy, but the story was not it. It was pretty bad. It was a pretty bad story. If it wasn't for them, it would have been a horrible movie. They really carried it. The other side characters felt kind of forced and pushed and didn't really have anything going on. They kind of just felt like something on a checklist. It's like, oh, we got to have, you know, this type of person and this type of person. Which is unfortunately too common in film nowadays, but it didn't really matter. It was fun. The memes were great. It was a goofy movie. It was silly. And, you know, it worked out at the end of the day. It ended up going great. I didn't get my TNT popcorn bucket. That was actually one of the main things I wanted. I went to a discount theater, and unfortunately, they didn't have the TNT Minecraft popcorn bucket. But I did get the Grimace egg from the McDonald's thing. So that's a win. Overall, it was kind of cool to see how it kind of brought the community together, because when the trailer first dropped, people were calling it out, and rightfully so. We knew it was going to be like a big corporate cash grab, but you know what? It worked out at the end of the day, and I'm looking forward to what they're going to do next year. I feel like they're cooking something up. They're creating more lore. If you guys, a lot of people I don't think know this, but there's like lore in Minecraft. There's a lot of it too. If you go watch Game Theory, there's a ton of lore, and it's not like necessarily, a lot of it's not even theory. Like they've been right about a lot of things. And I had a friend tell me, I didn't know this, Mojang does have like a lore document. Like they have written lore, and they kind of make updates with that in mind. And with the whole like Tesseract thing, whatever that cube thing is, we might be seeing some new updates coming because of that. So I'm looking forward to what they're going to do here. That is my opinion on that. So I want to go ahead and finish this up, at least this one side, maybe with the corners, and see how it feels. I'm a little worried it's going to be too big now, seeing how much glass we're going to be using, but we'll see. So I already made a mistake. I realized I think I want to make this out of black glass, because the original design was with tinted glass, but we're not doing that because that's way too expensive. But black glass will have the same look, although not the same functionality, unfortunately. But I don't think it's going to affect the mob rates as long as our roof goes out far enough. So we're going to do black glass. There's actually something, the reason why I'm letting you guys know this, instead of just showing you, is I need to take that glass down, and my Silk Touch pickaxe is almost gone. And you need to Silk Touch to pick up glass. It is time to finally repair this bad boy and actually make it better. When I was looting the End Cities a few episodes ago, we found an Unbreaking 3 Mending pickaxe, which means we can put Mending on this bad boy, and it will be our little forever pickaxe. As long as we don't like fall into lava, this bad boy will be with us forever. Now I'm hoping it's not too expensive to apply this. Not bad actually. Let me go get those levels real quick. Alrighty, the time has come. Oops, wrong pickaxe. There we go. Mending. What a great episode. Got a Mending Silk Touch pickaxe, Mending Elytra. We really are getting spoiled here. Okay, I'm gonna go finish this up so I can show you guys. Oh yeah, former complaint to Mojang. Can you please make it where you can mine glass faster? This is a efficiency 5 pickaxe, and even if I get myself a haste 2 beacon, this will be the same. Why? Time for the review, and aha! Okay, so I replaced, well, I added all the glass, the black glass, and I like the black glass a lot more than the regular glass. Complements the colors really well. Now, there's obviously a problem with this. I'm not liking it too much. It kind of feels like a blank canvas. It's a lot more plain than I thought it was going to look. So we're going to need to do something about that. I'm thinking maybe we can make the pillars thicker, maybe 2 or 3 thicker. I want to add more depth in a way, but we actually can't add more depth. We can't make the glass any closer to the platforms, or else spiders want to cling onto it and climb up. It might already be too close already. So we can't help with the flatness, which is another issue I have, by adding more depth. But maybe we can add like a design in the center or something. I was envisioning maybe a circle of some sort, or some type of design to go in the center on top of the glass. Kind of help break up how flat it looks. And then of course adding maybe thicker pillars. Also guys, we made a pretty big mistake. We should have made the roof. We should have made the roof after making the base here, because I made it too small. Like it's really not balanced. The core of the building itself is way too big compared to the roof, and it looks kind of goofy. The roof should have been out a bit more. But here's the problem. I don't want to necessarily tear down the roof and rebuild the entire thing. That's going to be a pretty big job. I don't really have time to do that. That would take probably another few hours, a couple hours if I want to do something like that. That's going to be a big deal. So instead, we're going to work with our mistakes. You know, Bob Ross, when he messed up, he didn't throw out the canvas and start over. When he messed up, he didn't paint over the canvas and start painting again. He called it a happy little mistake and worked with it. So we're going to take that advice here and change plans a little bit. We can fix this pretty easily without having to take it all down. I think we can go out 1 or 2 more without it looking too weird and without this going up too much. I think it will still be pretty good. See, the original plan was to have these roofs all even. They all come out the same length. That's not going to work now. But what we can do to help balance it out even more and give it some character is the bottom roof is going to go out the furthest. We'll see how it looks, but that's how we're going to solve this. Because we're not in creative, and I don't have many hours to redo it. And honestly, there's something fun about just kind of changing things as you go. It doesn't need to be what you originally planned, especially on builds this big. Guys, I've never done anything this big before. And in Minecraft, this is a completely new experience. So yeah, I'm going to go with that idea. I'm going to put the roofs out a little bit further, and then work on a design in the center here. and see how it goes. By the way, guys, if you want to see how I've been making these roofs, they are definitely the most challenging part of this build. Because of the curvature they have, kind of complex geometry, you can't just stand on top of the roof. Like if I want to go out and start a new layer, I can't. Like there's nowhere for me to place a block to do it, so I have to get under the roof like this and place a block and then place this and then go along the side and go up. As you can see here, I just did this going this way. And I've been using the scaffolding. It's made it a lot easier because you have to make a platform under it to make the curvature of the roof. And the scaffolding has made it a lot easier. I'll just take the scaffolding, go over, then go up one, and keep going. So on this side, I'm getting ready to go up to the next level. I just place a half slab here and then go across. These can go out 6, I believe. So I can go out one more and go over. And I think this is it. Yeah, so then I go up one. Here, and you can actually stand inside these like this if you want to. And then just build it over like so. It actually took me a while to figure out the best way to do this, which is kind of why I'm showing you guys in case you want to build a roof like this. This seems to be the easiest way to do it. All right, everyone, some time has passed and I got a design going. As you can see here, I went ahead and finished extending the roofs. I think I'm happy with the size of the roofs because if we fly out here, it's starting to feel more balanced. Now, this is what I came up with for the center area. It's kind of inspired from those like coins you see with the square in the middle. Those like Chinese coins. So we got that there. I put a gold block in the middle with some chains. Use some trapdoors to kind of just change the texture up a little bit. Without them, I think there was too much of this plank texture. And I did try using stairs to round it out, but it rounded it out too much and it didn't look very good. So I'm pretty happy with this. It's not great, but it's definitely a lot better. If we look at the bottom there versus the top, it's definitely much nicer to have something like this. And I didn't make the sides thicker. I might try that later, but for now, I think I'm happy with the way this looks. Actually, my plan is I'm not going to finish this episode. I'm going to leave this here, let it sit so I can think about it. And I'll also give you guys an opportunity to chime in on some ideas if you want. Because another thing too, I don't know if I want to do the same design down here. I don't know if it's going to be too repetitive. Maybe we can do a different design. Maybe not have one at all. Maybe it'll look good just to have them at the top. I've been spending too much time on this and I need to take a break. I need to let it kind of sit so I can think about it. We don't need to finish it all in one go here. We got the bulk design done. We kind of have the idea of how we want to do this. So on that note, we will call it there. But I do want to be able to use the farm now. And if you look behind me, you may notice that the farm is actually on, kind of. The water's on. I realized I could just add an off switch using water. If I just have the water on all the time, the mobs won't spawn, and then we can work on it. And then we can turn this off, and the mobs will start spawning. And then turn this on. And then it'll just work like normal. And then that way we can actually collect resources while we do this. While we build on this, we can just turn it off. And Yep, that's why I made this platform. Because last time a creeper landed up there and blew up earlier in the episode. So this platform is here for that reason. So I land over here, no creeper falls on me and blows up all that stuff right there. And we can take the fruits of our labor early without finishing the building itself. Now you may be wondering, what am I going to do? It's like floating in the air right now. There is multiple parts to this build. It is a mega project. It's taken a lot more work than I planned. But once this is done, I was thinking we're going to treat this as like a floating building, and there might be on top of like a floating island, and maybe there's like chains coming from the ground that are like holding it in place. It will be connected to this somehow. Maybe chains are coming up from this and holding it. That's the direction I think I want to go with this build. But yeah, it was a good episode. We got ourselves lots of stuff. Feather falling boots, mending a elytra, our mending steel touch pickaxe. Now we can actually use this and not worry about like it's just sitting here not working, because I do need the this is all I have left for my fireworks. So we need to start using this. And on that note, we're going to get ourselves to the comment of the day. So this is nostalgic, seeing builds like that. I used to build like that. Same with the music. It just takes me back. Oblivious Extra. Thank you for the comment, Oblivious. What he's referring to is last episode, we were kind of looking at some older builds and updating them. Because if you don't know, or somehow missed it, this world is just about 15 years old. I made this world before the adventure update, which is why you see these like weird chunk errors, because after I update to the adventure update, it completely changed a lot of things in the game. So the world is very old, and I lost it for like over 10 years and found it. And that takes me to a point I want to bring up here. It's been so much more motivating playing this with a world that has history on it. And I think a lot of people can agree with me. There's this, a lot of people wish they had their old worlds to play on. I personally have tried to start new survival worlds and never really got motivated to do it, because I knew there was a world I put so much time in already, like hundreds of hours into, and it would just be motivating. It would just remind me of the world that I wanted to play on. So I'm very happy to find this, and I wish Mojang would make an effort to make it easier to like backup worlds, maybe like a cloud save for like at least a certain number of worlds. I actually play with the Essentials mod, so I can even do like social things and talk to friends here, and like send them pictures if they would load. Yeah, here they are. Like we can send pictures and stuff. It's pretty cool. And he can invite me to his world without having to start a server. And if it was easier to like share your worlds and invite friends onto your worlds, I think the Forever World genre would be a little more mainstream. Because I feel like most people would rather watch someone play survival Minecraft than do it themselves. And people might be more motivated to play if they could know their world wouldn't be at risk of getting lost if maybe their computer breaks down, their house catches on fire, and they lose it, or something like that. I got extremely lucky to finding this on my old laptop. But yeah, that's all I have to say on that. Thank you for watching. If you like the content, you know what to do to support it, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.